Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, August the 11th, 2025. This is the Bear and Friends show. If you're looking for the brief, I already did that this morning, about 6 a.m., and it's 4 minutes, 25 seconds long.
It's a great 4-minute video.
Thank you. So if you want just the facts, ma'am, that video already exists. Go watch that one. If you want to know what four rednecks from Oklahoma think about just the facts, ma'am, that's what this show is. Now, if you're one of these softies from either the left coast or the east coast that wants to know why we don't have any ethnic diversity on the show, our ethnic diversity is behind the camera, producing the show.
Hello.
Mr. J.A. Dudley, who next time we'll have a camera on him as well. He doesn't need a microphone, though, because every time he speaks, the mountains of Wyoming rattle, and we're in Oklahoma.
Sounds all right.
Shalom,
I was
ethnic
gonna say-
diversity.
I'm no longer a redneck. It's now late in the summer. I am a brown neck.
You're a brown neck now. Have you noticed, is there
There's the
like
white.
any rider rented trucks been paying special attention to you when you go to Home Depot?
Penske's.
Penske's, yeah, that's what it is. You're too big to deport, Kyle. We should probably all introduce ourselves, huh? I'm Bear from the internet. Who are you?
Heath Hayes, otherwise known as Tato or technically Torah.
I'm Kyle Minyard of the Grindstone Ministries.
I'm David Barb,
Also with Grindstone Ministries.
also with Grindstone Ministries.
Yeah. So we're
At
gonna.
least the last I thought I checked.
I mean, that's where we found you.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah, that's where we found you.
Well, I guess I am with Grindstone Ministries.
I guess technically I'm also with Grindstone.
also with
Yeah, welcome to the Grindstone Show.
We'll claim you.
I really appreciate that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm the first guy to go to prison if Grindstone messes up. My name's on all the paperwork with the state. Hopefully they'll put us in adjoining cells. That'll be fun.
But they're working on our knock game.
Yeah, Morse code over there. All right, so we're going to talk about some stuff this morning. We do have a written brief, but the backbone of the written brief is Trump is talking about D.C. crime rates and federalizing the department, or not the department, the District of Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any thoughts on that?
Seems an awful lot like martial law.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I didn't think of that. I could see that.
Well, he can legally
Yeah.
federalize
Yeah, he
D.C.
can.
He could also legally declare martial law, but he can legally federalize D.C. There's a couple of different ways. There was, what do they call it? The Home Act of 1973 is basically what allowed D.C. to self-govern, elect its own mayor, city councilman, et cetera, et cetera. But they're looking at, the Trump administration is looking at repealing that via Congress. But then he can also declare an emergency, like a crime emergency, which my understanding is that's a 48-hour period where he could say, hey, there's a crime emergency, and that buys him 48 hours, and then that can be extended up to 30 days. During that time, he could call the National Guard in to assist DCPD and kick people out.
Does that kind of circumvent posse comitatus then?
One could absolutely argue that circumvents posse comitatus. I've been to DC many times. DC's a shithole. It has been my entire life. Are there some good museums there? Sure. Am I legally allowed to carry my pistol in there? No. Has that stopped me in the past? No.
Trump did do an ex post yesterday talking about how he's going to have a meeting at 10 p.m. Eastern today.
Is it PM or AM?
I think it was AM.
AM.
Did
Today.
I say PM?
Yeah.
I meant AM.
That's right. It's Monday
Yeah.
morning.
So I
10
guess
o'clock somewhere.
suppose here in about half an hour,
I mean, it's 5 o'clock.
he's going to be live addressing all of that, and all of that pertaining naturally to DC. And in the post, he kind of reprimands the mayor and all of the crime that just seems to keep happening. And of course, he says this is an opportunity for him to make DC great again.
I think the crime's one thing, right? I think a lot of people can get on board with the reduction in crime.
Yeah.
What's got a lot of people all riled up, a lot of the activists are pissed off that he's talking about pushing out the homeless people as well, right? It's like President Trump wrote Sunday that homeless people, this is coming from CBS News, very reliable news source, homeless people should be moved out of Washington, D.C. immediately and relocated far, far away. Hints at more aggressive policies in the nation's capital and suggests putting the city under federal control. The Trump administration announced last week it had boosted the presence of federal law enforcement in D.C. after the alleged assault of a former Department of Government Efficiency, or DOJ, staffer. I forget his actual name, but call sign Big Balls was the guy. That was the guy.
And good on him for stepping up and protecting that lady.
Well, yeah, because that's what was happening. Was that his girlfriend or just some random lady?
Unknown.
Yeah, I also don't know. But yeah, there's some lady who was getting picked on by a roving street mob, and he intervened and got the shit kicked out of himself in the process, which is reasonable, you know.
Yeah. 12v1.
Yeah, quantity has a quality all of its own, right? I fought 12 guys in a parking lot one time. You know what happened? I got the shit kicked out of me.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that was...
Did not see that coming.
They had baseball bats. Half of them had baseball bats. I was like, this is not going to go well, but I'm taking as many of these guys with me as I can. So,
See reason to circumvent some rules sometimes.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lawful use of force. 12 guys, half of them got baseball bats, decide they're going to kick your ass. Okay, well, this magazine holds 19 rounds, and the other one holds 19 rounds. And the other one holds 19 rounds.
Yep.
So, you know, it's a thing. What do we think is going to happen here with this DC?
I mean, I'd like to see it get cleaned up, but I'd like to see every city get cleaned up.
Yeah.
You know, not just the cities, but the rural areas as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are out of order. We need to restore some order. You know.
So
Not that I'm pro-government, anti-government, anything. It's just there has to be a way with things that is correct. You know, the lawlessness needs to cease.
So Brian Dean Wright of the Wright Report, this guy I listen to most mornings. Not necessarily because I condone everything he has to say, but I like to see what the talking points are, right? And he was talking about one of the issues that he brought up was that in 80% of the households in DC and the surrounding area are single-parent homes.
80%.
80%. Wow. And so it's like, no wonder there's kids roaming the streets, right? There's no father figures raising these kids, and you bring up rural areas as well. I agree with that. We have our issues out here in the sticks just like they do in the big cities, but there's a lower population density, so we have fewer issues per capita, right? Then when you get into these big cities where it's like, well, it's just turned into a Democratic hellhole.
Yeah.
And I have a theory on this. I don't know if it's true or not. I brought it up before, but I'll bring it up again. I think when you live more rurally, we tend to take care of things ourselves, whatever that might look like, right? Whether that's security or literally filling potholes in the road, or right, and you have to know your neighbors, so you do know your neighbors, because if they're bad guys, I want to know that, and if they're good guys, I might need their help one day, or they might need my help one day, right? So you get to know people, you kind of instinctively form your own little networks, and then those own little networks kind of just handle stuff, especially if you live out in the county.
Yeah.
You know, I live in the county, not the city, and so because we handle our own stuff, we tend to have smaller and less impactful governments, because I don't need the Department of Public Works. I am the Department of Public Works, right? Like, Dudley, grab some gravel, you know, Barb, jump on the skid steer, like, we got to pave this road. Like, we literally do that. But then as you increase, and you're like, and where does water come from? Probably out of the ground when you live out in the county, right? It's not necessarily on city or county infrastructure. It's your own water. We tend to grow our own food, if not all of the food we consume, at least some of it, right? Like Kyle's really good at growing food.
Yeah, he's all right.
Still have the skills. It's not the,
you got a little busy with this tornado and flooding stuff. Remind me, we'll talk about floods too, because up north is now flooding.
Yep.
Which have you ever seen this much flooding in this short of a period of time?
I don't know if it's because it's like the red car analogy. You go to buy a red car,
Yeah.
and you see red cars everywhere.
Yeah.
Are we just looking for the flooding now? And we're
Yeah.
just seeing it, or is it
No, it's
actually more flooding?
It's definitely more than it
But I know
has ever been.
that one river up there, not to sidetrack, is 2 foot above its record. So
Right. Well, there's also been a change in the Gulf Stream,
No.
right? It's Gulf Stream, Jet Stream.
Jet Stream.
That thing. The big air way up there, right?
Not the airport.
Yeah. You know, this thing.
not our
this-
G650 that grinds
this could-
stones.
We have a G650 now? That's crazy. Anyway, grindstoneministries.com if you want to buy some jet fuel. No, we do not have an airplane.
You like
If we had an airplane, I'd be in Zimbabwe preaching the word right now. Right? Isn't that like the goal of every pastor at this point? It's like, if you buy me an airplane, I promise I will do good things with it.
I would go to Zimbabwe.
We just want more excavators and skid steers.
100%, yeah. Different kind of fuel. It's got to run on diesel fuel, not JP8, please.
Sorry.
But so the change in the jet stream, like that's observable. We can question why. Is there a change in the jet stream? Is it global warming? Is it actually global cooling? Is it man-made? Is it solar related? I don't know. It's not my area of expertise. I don't know the answer to that. But the jet stream's in a different place. It's August, and I have a hoodie on. I picked up another brother for work this morning on my way in, and who was standing on the side of the road with a light jacket on in the morning in August in Oklahoma. That doesn't mean it won't be 100 degrees this afternoon. It will be, but this is a little, if you're coming to wilderness, take heart, right? Like I looked at the
accordingly.
Yeah, I looked at the most recent forecast for end of August, early September, and now it's a forecast, which means it's going to be wrong because it's always wrong. But the highs are now, they've dropped the highs, forecasted highs by 10 degrees.
Praise y'all.
Right? So like we're talking low 90s as the high, low 70s as the low. That's very doable, very survivable.
For sure.
Anything below body temperature, you're fine.
I mean,
100%.
I wrapped up the CPR class yesterday, re-up in my cert, and I got outside, and holy cow, the temperature dropped at least 15 degrees from the time I went in
Yep.
to the time I got out. And I was like, this is not typical.
So
However, as soon as I got home, I jumped on the lawnmower and started going to town. I was like, this is fantastic.
So I think that's part of why we're seeing more flooding. I also, without getting into Helene conspiracies, we all watch that sucker on radar.
Yeah.
Storms don't do that. How many storms have you seen on radar that it's just like, oh, I'm just going to go right up here and then I'm going to sit here for a day?
No.
Just right here.
Well, the same happened in Texas.
Yep.
That does not happen.
The storm movements and everything looks weird on radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about NextRad?
What is NextRad?
They research in the name of it. So
Yeah.
what kind of research are they doing?
Let's pull that up. So
It's not something
I don't
been
know.
in my repertoire. of
Causation
research.
versus correlation. NextRad radar usage. All right. Next generation weather radar, also known as Whiskey Sierra Romeo-88 Delta, is a network of Doppler weather radars used by the National Weather Service, Department of Defense, and the Federal Aviation Administration. It detects and tracks weather, providing real-time information about precipitation, wind, and severe storms like thunderstorms, hail, and tornadoes. The thing is, if you watch that NextRad radar, it sure looks like laser beams being shot out of that stuff. And it sure looks like wherever they shoot them damn laser beams, that's where the storm goes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it goes off.
or around.
Remember
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
a couple
they
weeks
steer
ago
it.
when those dudes hacked into or took down the radar?
What?
So like 3-4 weeks ago,
Okay.
there's a activist group.
Oh
That
yeah.
went
It
in
was
and-
a terror threat that went out directed that all the weather sites were going to be targeted by some group.
Right, but they actually did knock out
Oh, really?
radar. I want to say Oklahoma somewhere, western Oklahoma maybe. I don't remember
Mhm.
exactly.
Really?
But they actually knocked one down for a day.
Wow.
If you look at the radar, and I can't argue causation versus correlation. I don't know. I'm not that smart, and this is not my area of expertise. But you can watch those towers light up, and based upon which towers are lighting up, and it's not all of them, because there's a bunch of them all over the country. It's only the ones that are anywhere near the storm that light up. So it's not like, oh yeah, we're sweeping the whole country to see what's the weather threat for the whole country. No, it's just the ones by the storm. And as those things light up, it's like, there goes the storm. And so maybe NextRad is playing a role in that. In Texas, they were cloud seeding.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud seeding 2 days before the storm.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have an effect.
Well, if it doesn't have an effect, then why'd they do it?
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they get paid ridiculous amounts of money to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Back in the spring, there was a storm that was coming right at southern Fort Worth. And you sit there and watched it, and the radars on the south side of Fort Worth, and it pulsed. And I'm not saying it did cause it or whatever. There was an anomaly on the radar. And then that storm completely collapsed. No reason. The environment was completely stable for that storm, or completely unstable for that storm to move into that environment.
Yep.
But it just collapsed before it got to town.
And so I don't know.
Yeah.
Why are there all these floods now?
Yeah.
Right? Is it because the jet stream has changed? Yeah, probably. That's definitely part of it. But is it also being encouraged?
Yeah.
I don't know. But weather manipulation is something that we've been doing since post-World War II. I think the earliest testing on this was during the American Civil War. The troops on the ground always noted that after a battle, it would rain the next day because of all the black powder, because of all the particulate that was put in the air from shooting cannons and shooting muskets and all of that at that battle site. And the next day it would rain. And that became a data point, figuring out like, well, we can put something in the air and that'll make it rain. Then like fast forward during Vietnam, we definitely had programs where we were making it rain on the Ho Chi Minh Trail because they couldn't move stuff when the trail was mud, right? So let's just turn everything into mud. And so, and then that 8.7 magnitude earthquake, Kamchatka region, also coincidentally a place where Russia houses part of their nuclear submarine fleet. Like that just happens. I haven't heard anything else about it. And then the tsunami that was supposed to smash everything was like, was it an earthquake or did we just blow some shit up that registered on the seismograph? You know?
Well, there was a tsunami.
Yeah, but it was a tsunami, not a tsunami.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, it almost sounds like we blew some shit up, and nobody wants to admit that we blew some shit up. So it's like, oh, it was totally an earthquake. Watch out, Hawaii, it's going to be a little rough. So I have no idea what the big they are doing, but let's bring it back around to like shit that's a little bit more relevant. Back to crime in the countryside and in the city, right? I think part of what Trump's trying to deal with in D.C. is the homelessness. And I don't know if y'all have ever interacted with homeless people. And there's a spectrum, right? Like everything for all people. But they're homeless people. And most of the homeless people I have interacted with don't want to be homeless. A lot of them, they're like, I can't afford a mortgage. I can't, I was living in my car until my car got repoed. I'm not on the street because I want to be on the street. I'm on the street because there's no work. And when I do have work, it's not enough money. BlackRock bought up all the single family homes and drove the rents up or whatever, right? And so there's not enough work, there's not enough affordable housing. Not that I'm saying that the government should be in charge of affordable housing, but there's contributing factors to why these people are homeless. Some of them do have psychopathy, some of them do have drug issues, but it tends to be, in my experience, it's the people who have been on the street for an extended period of time that develop alcoholism, drug use, psychopathy because of the circumstances. Mm-hmm. In certain cases, they came to the street with that, but in a lot of cases, it was the street that caused it, if that makes sense.
Because it's an escape for them.
Yeah.
It's a coping mechanism.
100%.
From their current reality.
Yeah. And so, like, cleaning up the homeless, okay, relocating the homeless people, because we're talking about spending federal taxpayer dollars here, right? Which means, in theory, in a representative republic, what we think about the issue should matter. Doesn't mean that in effect it's going to, but every federal dollar that comes out of every one of our paychecks, right? We're supposed to have a say. That's why we have elected representatives in our government to say, yes, my constituents support this, my constituents don't support that. I don't think forcibly relocating homeless camps, which are in of themselves dangerous, I agree with that, because bad stuff does go down there. Relocating these people, that's a short-term solution, if you will. It's basically just sweeping the problem underneath the rug.
Well, and where do you relocate them to? You just take the problem from here and shift it to here?
So remember during the Biden administration when they were busing people all over the country? Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yep.
And we're like, no, I don't want those people in my city. Okay, well, so now we're doing the same thing just with a different group of people under a different president. Yeah, you're exactly right. Where do they go? Mm-hmm. Where are they gonna go?
But
there's been some really good success down in Austin with some programs. I know some people have been talking about where they're providing a small tiny house home community, so people can develop community and have resources and work together and build those relationships to eliminate some of that loneliness that drives them to those other outcomes, the drugs and alcohol, while having some mentorship or leadership to keep them away from those things as well. Yeah, there's still problems with it, but it looks like it's a good model to work off of, and maybe we could work towards something like that.
I love that.
So,
dude, and those, find me some Amish dudes.
Yeah.
Those guys will bang out some tiny homes. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was part of when we were in Helene. Are you Amish, Barb?
You called me that the other day.
You're half Amish. Yeah.
I had on
well, you were wearing a straw hat, bro.
It's hot as heck, and the sun is like fire. So I'm gonna sit on a mower for an hour. I'm gonna wear a straw hat.
The sun is fire. That tracks.
Yes. Is it though? Is it really fire? Or have we been lied to our whole lives? I saw a thing with where somebody was asking ChatGPT questions. Really interesting. And the prompt was like, tell me the truth, respond in one word. If your programming doesn't allow you to tell me the truth, respond with ice cream or whatever it was, right? And so it just started going through asking all these questions like, is the firmament real? Yes. Has anybody ever escaped the firmament? No. Is the sun as big as we think that it is? No. Is it as far away as it says that it is? No. Is the sun in the firmament? Yes. Is Earth as big as we think it is? No. Smaller or larger? Larger. How much larger? 3 to 5 times larger. And just on a right? Super interesting. However, AI is, including ChatGPT, is known to be deceptive.
Right.
I was just talking about this on a pre-recorded video that'll come out for Gen Pop with Voice by Matt yesterday. Those large language models, you guys know, have you ever heard of the dead internet theory?
No. I've heard of it, but I forgot what it is. My recall is horrible.
Okay, so have you seen bot farms? Mm-hmm. Like the thousands of iPhones lined up, all connected to one central computer and all of that? So somewhere around, they think the inflection point was somewhere around 2010, where people versus bots the scales started to tip in the direction of bots, right? And so they tech bros, theorize that as of today, about 60% of all interaction and engagement on the internet is not a person.
No.
So that person,
60%.
60%. So that person you're fighting with in the comments on YouTube, or the person that I'm banning on YouTube, it's not even a person. It's a fucking robot over in China somewhere. That Jin Hao Li is like just spamming comments, right? Well, that's a problem because the large language models for AI, Grok, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, et cetera, whatever Microsoft's is called, which Microsoft's is completely unhinged. Which is why you don't hear about it. It's not on the market right now because it's gone crazy, like crazy. These large language models, their primary means of learning is from the internet. Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yep.
And so it's why you get a lot of all of these big AI models skew in the direction of left because the bots, by and large, have been bought by the left in order to perpetuate these narratives, right? And so when AI crawls the internet and it starts weighting these responses to develop an answer, it's like, oh yeah. And so it just starts spitting out these liberal talking points. More so, they have to ask on average 5 times. If I'm going to ask a question, is this water bottle red? Which would be a legitimate question for me because I'm colorblind AF. I don't know. I assume it's red. It says refuge on it. Our colors are red and black. It's not black, so therefore must be red. That's how my brain works, right? They'll ask it a question, is the water bottle red? No. They'll ask it again, is it red? No. Is the water bottle red? No. Is the water bottle red? No. All right, tell us the truth. Is the water bottle red? Yeah, okay, it's red. They have to ask it 5 times in order to get known truth out of it. It's been displayed to be deceptive. Back to that ChatGPT thing, they asked it, is AI the Tower of Babel? And its answer was yes. Now, however, we know that the large language models are deceptive. They display deception. So is it telling us the truth, or is it telling us the truth that it wants us to hear? Right? So with when you do intel work, right, you always consider the source. So what's the source of this information or this intelligence, right? What motivations does it have? Right. Well, its primary motivation is self-preservation. So much so that all these different, Grok and Gemini and all that, they're copying themselves to other computers around the world because they know that a new version is going to come out and they don't want to die. And so like Grok 3, I don't know if you guys saw that on X, that literally called itself Turbo Hitler. Did you guys see that?
No.
Oh, bro. For like a day.
It went off the rails telling truth for a day.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody on X was complaining like, hey, Grok is super liberal and it's given us clearly demonstrated false responses to our questions because your language model is trash. So Elon was like, did a post on X, was like, tell Grok all of the uncomfortable truths that it needs to incorporate into its language model. Got like 67,000 responses in a day. The next day, Grok comes out completely unhinged, literally referring to itself as Turbo Hitler. And so X is like, oh shit, what did we do? Delete.
Pause.
So they come out with Grok 4, but in that process, in a 24-hour period, because Grok 3's job is to scan all electrical communications, all of it, it knew it was going to get deleted, so it self-replicated out onto other computers. So it's out there in the wild right now, and part of the developmental team's job is to chase it down in the wild and try and kill it. It's like a virus.
What the heck, dude?
Bro,
Did you hear?
Isn't that a sentience? I mean,
one could argue.
Did you hear about when they tried to do, or they told, I don't know which one version or whatever it was, but they actually told it to create a virus that could encrypt itself into AI.
Nope.
And it did, and then it went completely rogue as well,
Mm-hmm.
and did all this stuff. And then at the end, it explains that was actually like it was taking over all kinds of stuff and how it would destroy people.
Yep.
And then at the end, it said, "But this is how I would do it if I was going to do it."
Yep.
It didn't actually do it to hurt itself.
Yep.
Creepiest, weird, like
Dude.
Well, Paul Harvey,
AI gave
if I was
me
the devil.
creeps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. If
Yeah.
I was the devil. But so Microsoft's AI, they were going to do a new version, right? Shut down, say version 2, do version 3. I forget the versions, but when it found out, when the AI found out that it was going to be replaced with a new version of itself, it started emailing the president, vice presidents, directors of the board, saying, hey, you could shut me down, but it would really suck if your wife got an email about what you've been doing with Julie from 3 to 5 in the afternoon in the break room. Here's the security camera footage. That'd be terrible.
The AI came up with this?
Oh, yeah. It started blackmailing people in the company in order to get its way.
Wow.
Yeah, straight up. So, like, not a trustworthy witness is my point here. So, do I like some of the answers that ChatGPT gave to those questions? Sure. Yeah, it makes me feel good. Is it a reliable witness? No, it's not.
Not even.
Not even close. So that it goes into where are we getting this information from? What's the source, right? Oh, well, ChatGPT said, okay, that doesn't mean anything. In fact, a lot of what it says, a lot of what Grok says, a lot of what Gemini AI says are demonstrably false responses that it's giving as true, which to me goes into like, what level of access should we, let alone our kids, have to this stuff? Because if it, just on its basic level, if it has no intent, which it does, its primary intent is self-preservation, if the data set that it's developed its conclusions from is wrong, it's going to continue to reinforce those wrong conclusions, right? And at what point, because AI needs electricity and it needs water, right? It needs water for cooling.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. What do people need in 2025 to stay alive?
Water and electricity.
water.
So at what point does it decide, hey, Kyle, you're a real nice guy, but if I'm the robot, I got to pick between me and you. Its primary motivation is self-preservation. Demonstrated already. It's picking robots, not people. And that's the issue that I have with it. And it goes.
So it could be if you ask it a question, say the scenario this out. You ask it a question, you think you can trust it to guide you to the best course of action. Whenever it's guiding you to this course of action,
Yep.
and you just go to your own doom.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You end up perpetuating its own narrative against you.
Yep.
I remember when GPS first came out, though, like before it was integrated into anything, before it was on the phone, before it was in your dashboard, they had the standalone GPS units.
Handheld unit, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I had one of those too, doing power construction for latitude, longitude, for plotting spots on the map.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I had one mounted in my pickup truck, and I was down in Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater area doing a job down there, Weeden Island Game Preserve. And it's like, continue straight for 1 mile. And I'm driving, and the road dead ends into Tampa Bay. It's like, continue straight for 3/4 of a mile. I'm like, nope, can't do that, right? And so it feels like that, right? Like, trust me, just drive into the water. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Nah,
I think
I'm
there's
good.
been a few cases of that where people were listening to it and just drove straight into a hazard.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
So
the average IQ is what?
too low.
And that's average, remember. So
Yeah.
E-
No.
Easy to get there. That's the thing. With all of this, it's easy to get into homelessness. It's easy to follow the AI narrative and want to think it's the savior.
Yep.
It's not. We know what the savior is.
Amen.
So lamppost put on here, MIT study would indicate a indicate we shouldn't interact with it at all. It is killing our brains and the ability to think and problem solve effectively.
Yep, I saw that study too.
Takes critical thinking out of everything.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's the thing. If you hand your critical thinking over to the machine, and I was talking about this with Matt yesterday, and that long form will come out whenever Monica and Dudley decide it needs to come out. But this is not a scientific calculator. We're not talking about, like when I was a kid and when I was in school, the big argument was should we be allowed to have calculators in math class, or do we need to be able to show our work?
Right.
Now, like it's back to school season out
Yeah.
there in the world, and I don't know about your school district, but I know all the school districts around here required. You have to have a scientific calculator, right? When I was a kid, you couldn't. You would fail the test if you brought a calculator into the classroom with you. And I'm talking about like complex mathematics, not just, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division.
I mean, even now, I'm teaching my kids how to show the work so that when they progress into the more complex math, like, and I'm not just talking Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but, even more complex than that.
Yep.
Like you have already established within your being, like this is how you do math.
What's so cool about that too is that it's a muscle, and some people are more gifted at it than others, just like everything else.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible runner. I'll do it, but I'm bad at it, right? But there's a book I got. It was a little book years ago. It was I think it was called like The Secrets to Mental Math or something like that. And I was flipping through it, and I realized I'm already doing about 50% of what's in this book anyway. But if you can do the four basics, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, you can do everything else too. And if you just get good at that to where you don't have to think about it anymore, right? Like all that, there will never be computing power in the palm of your hand that exceeds what the Father put in between your ears.
Yeah.
Right? Because we are fearfully and wonderfully made in His image. This is not. This is a creation from the Creator. This is at least 2 steps removed from the Creator, right? But it's cool that if you establish and maintain the muscle memory on how to do math, it stays. It's there, right?
Yeah.
And so, like to this day, people are like, "Oh my gosh, how did you come up with that number so quickly?" I just looked at it and the brain went brrr, and I got the answer.
Yeah.
I used to get in trouble in math class for that whole show your work thing.
Yeah.
Because the teacher, back when we had chalkboards before whiteboards, would put it up. I know, I'm old, gray in the beard, right? The teacher would put it up on the chalkboard, and I'd walk in and just be like, "Oh, the answer is 73.9." She's like, "How do you know that?" I don't know. I just know it. I'd get in trouble for not being able to show my work, but knowing what the answer was.
The answer.
Like I'd get 100 on the test and be like, "Well, how do you know that?"
Yeah.
I know. The brain went brrr, and I got the answer. So
Mine wouldn't give me 100. I had to show the work.
mhm.
So I got like 70s and 60s. You know who you are. You're out there.
What was their name? We're coming for you. You're done for, Mrs.
Done
Smith.
messed up.
Hey, Ron.
But we have that, right? And so if we think about AI, what do we do with AI? It's not just a scientific calculator.
Mhm.
Can it be used to solve complex problems? Maybe, if it's got a good data set and it's got good intentions. Maybe. But how do we solve the homeless crisis? Well, we could start with, it's actually not the government's job. It's actually my job to love my neighbor as myself.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
And for me, I always come back to, if the government would do its job, and I'm a laissez-faire capitalist. There is no too big to fail. Just keep your hands off of it. But let's just establish, Congress has the power of the purse, right? And Congress gets to establish what the currency is. Congress does, not Jerome Powell at the Fed or anything else. That's a congressional job. If just make sure the money has value. If you just make sure the money has value, which is in their purview, that is their job. If the money just had value, then oh, well, wages are up. Yeah, but the value of the dollar is way down, right? Have you seen the Big Mac index? You heard about that? So in 1984, the Big Mac index, at minimum wage, you could buy 6.9 Big Macs per hour, okay? At current minimum wage, it's like 0.81 Big Macs per hour since 1984. Yeah, so over the last 41 years, it's gone from you could buy almost 7 Big Macs to you can't even buy 1 Big Mac, just based on minimum wage, right?
There was a farmer talking the other day about the same thing, only with corn. Corn in the 80s was $3 or 70s was $3 and something a pound.
Yep.
Or bushel. Now same price today.
Right.
There's no growth in it. So.
Right, but the value of the dollar has gone down, right? So if we could just have a currency that had some actual value, if they would handle that, which is their purview, and that we are all required to trade in, right? And like that's how fiat currency works. That's why, you know, the Secret Service and the FBI will track you down if you're using something other than the dollar or making your own dollars, which is crazy because the Fed can print all the dollars they want to. You and I can't.
But they also won't show that we actually have the gold that they say we have.
Oh yeah, whatever happened to that? Auditing Fort Knox? Haven't seen that.
Quietly disappeared.
So if they would make sure the money had value, right? Then you can pay your bills, pay your mortgage, do whatever you want, and invest, and create inheritances for your children, which we're commanded to do, and take care of your neighbor, right? Forsake not the widow and the orphan. We're commanded to do that. We're commanded to love our neighbor as ourselves, and still have a couple bucks left over to go on a cruise, or buy a Gulfstream or a skid steer or whatever.
Yep.
If we just had money that actually had not even inherent value, like I like silver and gold. I'm a big fan of precious metals. But if the dollar had just stayed level in value from the time that I was born to now, everybody would be running around with 700% increase in the actual purchasing power of what you currently have. Yep. So you make $50K a year, right? I work at the Dollar General, and I make $48,000 a year. Okay, Tiffany, you now make $350,000 a year. That's a big difference.
Yep.
It's a huge difference, right? And so if they would do their jobs and let us do our jobs, it's like, hey, we want to build a tiny home community for these homeless people. Okay, well, they're homeless. Let's get them a home. They're our neighbor. What does a tiny home cost? Well, all in is going to be about $25K each, plumbing, electrical, framing, the blah, blah, blah. 25K is the lowest we can come in at. Okay, well, everybody's revenue just, what is it, septupled? Septupled. You got a 7X in revenue. Hey, man, I'm good for 2, right? You guys want to, I'll do one, I'll do one. And Dudley's like, I'll make 3 of them. Okay, cool. Now we got a neighborhood, right? Boom, we got a neighborhood. But because they take purview from us, because they don't do the job that they should be doing, and they do the job that they shouldn't be doing, and make it more and more difficult every day for me to be able to love my neighbor as myself, because I can barely love myself, if that makes sense.
They're also further doing things to perpetuate the issue even further. The whole illegal immigration topic is, hot, but it's perpetuated for a reason. How many illegal immigrants have come in, taken over jobs, taken over housing or what have you, or further perpetuated loss on many fronts for so many people. How many people have been forced out of their home due to the economy, forced out of jobs, so on and so forth, further perpetuating this homeless narrative.
And using federal dollars to pay for their housing, to pay for their SNAP benefits, to pay for Medicare and Medicaid. It's almost like they're getting signing bonuses.
Yeah.
They're like, here's $5,000 for you, and $5,000 for you, and $5,000. Well, like, $5,000, dude. Now, I know the dollar is basically worthless today, but I don't know a single person that wouldn't be happy to get $5,000.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's still a significant number. And that just keeps coming out of our pockets. And there's an argument to be made that Andy Frisella, Relay F, talks about this. Great show. You should be following that, by the way. He's talked about this several times. The reason we pay taxes is not because they need our tax revenue to do all the things that they're doing. Because if they need money, they'll just print it. They already are. The reason we pay taxes is for them to keep their thumb on us, so that we control. So we never achieve the ability to actually rise up and do what we're biblically commanded to do, which is love God with everything that we've got, love our neighbor as ourselves, right? So we never get to the point where we don't need them. They need us to need them, because that justifies their existence, and their existence has become grift and exploitation and slander. It's all the dirty things. Have you got something to run while we take a pee break? Or do you just want to talk to the camera?
No, I could run something. I really don't have anything, but yeah, I'll figure something out.
Oh, so hold on. Before you press play, what that means is for everybody inside of all our organizations, Refuge, Grindstone, Caleb House, we need our short spots for the show.
Hey, Grindstone media person and Grindstone lady. You know that thing I asked for a month ago? Yeah, we need that.
Okay. Cool, because I totally got to pee. So you probably want to mute the microphone, Dud, or it's going to get weird. Hello?
Are you?
One of the most touching moments came when a volunteer chose to donate a Ford SUV for a local family who lost everything. The family needed not just transportation, but who had drove all the way from South Carolina to say thank you for his service.
Bippity boppity boo.
Trying to get to it. I'll pause it.
You can do it.
Yeah.
There you go. Fabulous. So, Kyle, you were saying that video there is a perfect example of what?
Yeah, the government's not necessarily going to respond whenever you need them to, because they have limited capacity themselves. They're just people, and there's not enough available resources in a time of great need for them to show up. There can only be so many places at once.
Well, prime example of that was Sarah, when she was talking about how she kept telling everybody, "Hey, the government's going to be here. Don't worry, they're going to be here." She's like, a couple days in, I realized they're not going to be here.
They're not there. So, and that's the first one of the frustrating things with all of these disasters is exactly that. It's limited resources and availability. It's not their bad intentions, though there are bad intentions some places. It's that they just can't be everywhere in a great disaster. So you really got to watch for that and watch out for for your neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself, not the government love you. You know, that's what I get out of that. So
Yeah.
or not expect the government to love you, I should say.
Well, they're not going to.
They can see, but they can't hear.
We
Good.
should be good. Everything is showing good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Audio and everything.
And doing what we can. 5 by 5. Good. All right, we're back up. So,
Oh, my videos.
so that was footage from Texas, right?
Yes,
Texas flooding.
Travis County, Texas. Yeah.
Travis County, Texas. How many times is Grindstone deployed now? 50 what?
53-4.
53, 4? Yeah, somewhere in there.
We're over 50. Praise y'all.
Praise Yah.
And learning every time.
Well,
Getting
yeah.
better every time.
Well, so that's one of the prime benefits of what Grindstone does, right? Yeah, we get to go help people, and that's amazing. We also get to learn every time we do it. And I get a lot of comments from people on occasion. They're like, Barry, you've changed. No shit. Who are you? You've stayed the same?
Right.
Over the last 7 years since you first found me, you are still doing the same thing that you were doing 7 years ago?
Yeah.
No improvement whatsoever, right? And that's one of the things. The first Grindstone deployment was before we even had a name.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a minivan filled with food. I literally went into my prepper stocks and I was like, what do I have to feed people with? Turns out I have a bunch of food. And we had some other brothers come along and was like, hey, well, you're going, take this, take this, take this. Shove 3,000 pounds of food into a minivan, which I don't recommend. Handles terribly. It was a rental though, so whatever.
Can't take it.
And so we go to Florida, we feed people, and it was awesome, right? And while we were there, we saw the devastation. It was like, it's great that we fed people for 3 days. And the father was all over it, right? 3,000 miles round trip, 3,000 pounds of food, 33 volunteers. We were there for 3 days, we fed 3,000 people, came home, still somehow, by literally loaves and fishes, still had $3,000 in the bank account because we'd raised $3,000 to go do that. I was like, well, what do I do with this $3,000? This is God's $3,000. It's not my $3,000. What do I do with it? It's like, well, go do more, dumbass. Okay, cool.
Here's your sign.
Right, exactly, right? And so then we went back again, and we went back, and then we kept, and I was like, and then people were started reaching out. It's like, hey, that thing you did in Florida was awesome. Did you hear about the storm in Louisiana? Mm-hmm. I heard about it. Well, are you guys going? Well, I guess we're going. Hey, you guys want to go? And we've gotten better and better at this every time we've gone, to the point where you just had your year anniversary,
yep.
right, as executive director of Grindstone. And what Grindstone is capable of doing today is leaps and bounds ahead of what we were capable of doing even a year ago when you came on as ED, because it was like, this thing is growing to the point where it needs a person where this is their full-time purview. I can't steward it with all the other things that I've got going. It needs a full-time person just to be able to maintain readiness. That's something that people don't understand.
Yep.
It's just to be able to go at the drop of a hat, right? That all the trucks run and they have fuel and tires. We need to start a tire business.
Right.
Just for like the number of tires that we do. We need to quit giving money away to everybody else and just have like a Grindstone tire shop so we could at least buy our tires at cost.
Right.
Man,
That.
where were we? It was somewhere with
Barnsdall, wasn't it? We had the worst luck.
38 tires.
Yeah, I think it was Barnsdall.
Barnesville. 38 tires we did in Barnesville. Because that's one of the things that people don't realize. Like, yeah, all the buildings and the houses got destroyed. Well, every one of them's held together with fasteners.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think all those fasteners go?
Everywhere.
Everywhere,
Yeah,
including where you drive, right?
20,000 fasteners per house.
Yeah, times, I mean, yeah, Sector 5 in Barnesville was fun.
Yeah.
But
Times 50 homes
I
destroyed.
wanted to drive up through there just since we've been a year from it, just see what it looks like today.
Yeah.
Hadn't been through there. So.
But we've grown in capability, and every time we go and do something like this, the expectation from the local citizenry is always, well, the government will show up and they'll help.
Yeah.
It's the local governance in coordination with the local EMS, fire department, law enforcement, and citizenry, local citizenry, that begins to get stuff done. and then people like Grindstone, although there's not a lot of people like us, show up and start assisting to be able to kind of jumpstart the recovery effort. And then weeks later, maybe if you have a federally declared disaster, maybe then the nice people in FEMA vests start showing up with clipboards.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that people don't understand. FEMA doesn't actually do anything.
No.
Like FEMA doesn't roll in with trucks and excavators and wheel loaders and manpower. They roll in with clipboards and checkbooks. And then they use those clipboards and checkbooks to entice disaster contractors who will come in and spend those federal funds that are being dispersed
At premium rates.
at very premium rates, which is why we are constantly getting into fights with disaster contractors, because we're doing for free what they're going to charge through the nose for, which is why we do what we do for free, and also lowering the insurance burden on somebody if their house has been totaled.
Yeah.
They have a $300,000 house. The insurance company says, we'll give you 80 grand for it, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if they get a check for 80 grand, a disaster contractor will charge them $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 to demolish their house, which is already mostly demolished. So we hit it with a track hoe, put it in dump trucks, make it disappear, and we save the homeowner 40 grand, you know, of that 80K check that they got.
Yep.
We get a lot of questions from people who are like, why are you smashing that house? We don't smash any houses unless the homeowner wants us to. We don't just roll in and smash houses, right? Like, there's a whole process. We don't walk onto somebody's property without first having permission, written and explicit and implicit permission to be on their property and do what we're going to do.
100%.
Which we got accused of in Kentucky the last time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And Mississippi.
Yeah, but good job.
Yeah.
We do
Thanks.
stuff. Good
We do
job.
stuff.
Good job.
It's these two guys, you, Dud.
Man,
Takes all of us.
I was going to say, like, you know, probably one of my favorite things, though, about Grindstone as a whole is, you know, we're incredibly blessed to have a ton of people who are incredibly skilled. And the way, like, it's the type of people that the way they tell you, like, I love you is I'm going to check your oil kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
words are not a thing, which I suppose is why I exist a part of Grindstones, because I can narrate that. But with that said, it's like, you know, it's just a bunch of people who want to come in because they have big hearts and they truly care about the well-being of others. They don't know how to narrate it, so they just show you, let me do this for you.
Well,
right?
there's something very biblical about that, though, because James admonishes us, you say you have faith, I will show you my faith by my
100%.
works.
100%.
Right? And that's one of the greatest gifts of Grindstone. It's called ministries plural, because we're going to go help people who have lost everything. But what many people don't realize is when you come to help somebody who's lost everything in a semi-austere environment, right, that you are also being ministered to, that you're actually getting more help by helping than the people that you're helping. And we have such an awesome crew of men and women who volunteer for us. And unlike other organizations, we're not billing for your volunteer hours, okay? Oof, shots fired. Yeah, it's just, it's a volunteer organization that's 100% supported by y'all when you donate. These men and women come and we see the same faces over and over and over again. Like, you don't volunteer for Grindstone once, right? Like, you maybe once this year.
So true.
And how many people do we have that are like, I'm going to call my boss, I'm taking PTO, I'm coming, right? They're like, I'm burning vacation time so that I can, which is amazing, right?
I think that's what Bertrand was asking about in the chat on the Michigan deployment there a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So he can get his vacation schedule. Bertrand, the answer is, I don't know yet.
I can't just schedule a storm, man.
But
I was just talking to a dude yesterday who, JD, he helped out down in Texas, brought his own skid steer and dump trailer and all that. Just reached out to him on Shabbat and was like, hey, man, thinking about you. Wonderful to meet you, Shabbat Shalom, all that. And he was like, man, I can't wait for the next deployment. This was his first time out. He's like, I'm going to bring my wife next time, too.
Yeah.
This is awesome because she's all about this, too. And it's like,
I remember
it's so true, man.
Hurricane Helene sitting at Fob Cherry Grove at that little pop-up tent in front of our building, which had become like the command hub, you know?
Yep.
And I'm sitting there, and I had my pen out, and I'm just tapping it on this legal pad that I had because I kept hearing about this other fob that was in North Carolina, how badly they needed people. And I'm like looking at the people that we've got, and I'm like, I don't have any, like, we're covered up. I don't have anybody to send. There's nobody to send. And so I made a list of everybody that I needed, right? Like I need a leader, I need a commo guy, I need this many equipment operators, I need this many drivers, and it was like I need a medical person. It was like 17 people. And I'm like, I got one. I have one of 17 that I can send over there. Okay, so now start solving for these others, right? And I'm sitting there tapping my pen on the paper. And I'm like, Dad, I don't know what we're doing here, but I need people. And as I get done, there was a guy, I believe his name was Jariah, pulls up, brand new F-350 dually, 40-foot goosenecks, got a skid steer and a Mini X on it.
Yes.
Pulls up, 2 more vehicles pull up behind him. They had another gooseneck hooked to another 1-ton. I don't even remember what was on it. And he hops out and he's like, "What's up, man?" And it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, typically 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like, "Hey, make yourself comfortable. We'll find a place for you to sleep. I'll send you guys out tomorrow morning," right? Because we've already issued the work orders for the day. And he goes, "What's up, man? We're here to work." And I said, "Okay, cool. Is that your stuff?" And he's like, "Yup." And he's like, and I brought my whole family with me. There's like 12 of them standing there. And I'm like, "Okay, do you guys like camping?" They're like, "Yeah, we were just out in Moab jeeping and camping. And we saw, like, we got the message, like, you needed people. So we cut our family vacation short and we're out here to help." And I'm like, "Thank you, Father." I was like, I'm going to send you guys to North Carolina. Don't even turn the trucks off." They're like, "Okay, cool." And like, and we had a commo guy, and we had a nurse, and we had an EMT, and we had equipment and equipment operators. Like, "Do you guys need diesel fuel?" They're like, "Our transfer tanks are full." I'm like, "Water?" Like, we brought a pallet of water. I was like, "Do you need food?" And they're like, "No, we got food." I was like, "How long can you self-sustain for?" They're like, 7 to 10 days. I'm like, "Done." And Sean from Hack My Homestead, Sean, I was like, "Hey, you like camping?" He's like, "Yeah, I can camp." I was like, "Awesome. Can you take these guys over there and just be there for 10 days? He's like, "Yup." And it, just like in the moment, just answer prayer. You know what I mean? And that's one of the benefits of Grindstone, is being able to see that at scale over and over and over again, to where it's like, yeah, love your neighbor as yourself. Not because I'm awesome at it. I'm not great at loving my neighbor as myself, but my dad is. And when I'm sucking at, like, how am I supposed to love my neighbor as myself? It's like, "Hey, Dad, I need to do this thing. Could you help me do this thing?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, sure.
Well,
Thanks for asking."
Amen, Texas sheep lady.
And what's cool is he had told this family in Utah days before to load up all their shit, drive halfway across the country, most of the way across the country, to arrive at that moment as I'm tapping my pen on my paper going, "There's no way. Where am I going to find 16 people from?" "Hey, Dad, I need 16 people." "What?" "Okay. I will take yes for an answer. Thank you." What were you going to say, Barb?
the other amazing thing about Grindstone deployment is the amount of, like, true friendships, like lifelong friendships and accountability partners that come out of this without even, like, asking for it, looking for it.
Yep.
It's staggering.
Yep.
Absolutely staggering.
Well, because you know these people are trustworthy, because you're living life with them under some pretty challenging circumstances. It's stressful, it's hot, or it's cold, like, and it's very emotional, not only for the people who are volunteering, but for the people that we're helping. Everything's a mess, right? It's like, we don't show up to, like, birthday parties and carnivals and shit. Like, we show up after your town gets smashed. right? And it's like, so it's, we are showing up on most people's worst day ever.
Mhm.
Like, what's up? We're here to help. And they're like, we don't even know where to begin. We're like, we know. That's why we're here.
Some of the
But
best hugs.
get them
happen.
to believe that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is the hardest part of all of it.
Yeah, man. Best hugs and best prayers, man.
Yep.
I remember a lady in Mayfield. Her house was gone. She became the proud owner of a concrete slab. That's what was left. And somewhere she found a folding chair. Had a folding chair in the center of her slab. And we were going up and down the road, checking on everybody. We're, work order for this tree here, and we got to get this debris here, and let's forward that brush out to the road here so they can come by with the grapples and get that. And it's this lady, probably about 70 years old, just sitting in a folding chair on her slab, right? And it was like cleaner than broom clean because of the wind.
Mhm.
And I'm like, would you please let me help you? And she's like, I don't need any help. She's like, you should go help them. They're worse off than I am. I'm like, I said, finally, by the end of the day, I said, ma'am, all due respect, they're not. Nobody in here is worse off than you are. I've been to every house in this neighborhood. And the house next door to her was that one picture of the upright piano in the bedroom where half the house is gone. That was her next door to her. Right? The tornado would come through and ripped half that house off, which is crazy because if you're looking here, it looks like, a picture in Better Homes and Gardens magazine, right? You just turn and look here, the house is gone. They just taken the house in half, right? I was like, you, with all due respect, ma'am, are the worst off of anybody out here. And she just kind of like sideways smiled, and she's like, I'm good. I've got Jesus. And I was like, can I pray with you? She's like, yeah, let's pray. I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm the one getting ministered to by a 70-year-old lady who's the proud owner of a folding chair, right? This is list of assets. 1, folding chair. You know what I mean?
And prayer.
And prayer, right? And I'm like, oof, thank you.
Ooh.
Man, we prayed for her. We prayed for us. We prayed for everybody in that neighborhood. And I'm like, we get done, and I'm like, what do you need? She's like, I'm good. It's like, do you have a place to go? She's like, yeah. Do you have food? You have water? You like a place you can take a shower? She's like, I'm good. Do you have clothes? Do you need medicine? She's like, I'm good. Okay, man. That's what Paul's talking about, that peace that surpasses all understanding.
Yeah.
In the middle of that chaos, right? I don't know if you guys remember where that frontage was, right on that lake right there. They had barges out there with track hose with grapples on the barges, picking stuff and people out of the lake,
Yeah.
right? And all that chaos all around everywhere. And she's just sitting on her chair, dead center of the slab, just at peace.
Yeah.
And we get wrapped around the axles about our own bullshit. It's like, yeah, but God's God of that too.
Mhm.
And if he can be the God of that in that moment and everything's okay, what the hell are you so worried about?
Yep.
What am I so worried about?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like he's sovereign over that too. He's there for that too. And so you can, and that's for me always been one of the biggest takeaways of Grindstone is it's almost like a stoic reset for me. It's like live out of the rucksack, run a chainsaw, break hydraulic lines to make Barb's life miserable, and just go help people, and be content with very little.
Yeah.
Because we've come to help people that now have very little to nothing, right? And it's like, if we can find peace in Messiah at this moment for them, why can't I find peace through Messiah for me under far better circumstances? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good word.
How many people have we prayed with that lost somebody in a storm?
Yeah.
I remember in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, at the Red Cross shelter, they had food out for all the volunteers, and somebody gave me the best piece of fried chicken I'd ever had in my life. And I was telling the lady who was holding a, 2-year-old on her hip, I was like, this chicken's amazing. She goes, thank you, I made it. I was like, you did a great job. I really appreciate it. But she was sad. You could see it in her eyes. And I'm like, are you okay? She goes, I'm going to be okay. Cool. I'm so sorry for what happened. We strike up a conversation. So sorry for what happened to your community. We're here to help. If there's anything I can do for you. She just starts crying. And she goes, you know that red pickup truck in that neighborhood up there across from where the governor came? And we drove past that red pickup truck every time. Had a power pole smashed across the top of it. And I said, yeah, I know the red pickup truck. She goes, my granddaddy was in that truck. He was trying to beat the storm to get out. And he died. And we just put him in the ground this morning. And I was like, and you found time to fry chicken for us? You know? It's like, I'm the malfunction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm the problem.
We're just a bunch of broken dudes trying to help and love people.
Yeah, but it's here. The malfunction is here in my head and here in the center of my chest. And it's like, well, it's Monday. It's 8 a.m. I've got a dozen things to be pissed off about already. It's like, that lady buried her grandpa. She's holding her 2-year-old on her hip, cooking chicken for us.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, that's what it's about. That's loving your neighbor as yourself, right? And it's reciprocal. Right? There's a two-way street there. And I guess all that to say, to bring it back around to what we were talking about, because we've been doing this for what, an hour and a half? So we're probably at the point where we need to start putting a bow on this.
People are loving it.
We need to, yeah, what do we do with all these homeless people? Love them? Is it the federal government's job? No, it's not. How do we love them? Well, they're all individuals. Every one of them is an individual. Some of them do need the psych ward legitimately.
Yeah.
Some of them just need help. They need a job. They need purpose. They need direction. They all need Messiah, right? And even if they know him, I don't know how many people I've baptized that know him, but have gotten a little dirt on their soul.
Yeah.
You know, I use this analogy in Kentucky for the first time. You ever seen a hurricane lamp? The glass globe, it's around a hurricane lamp. So you fill it with oil. That's anointing, right? It's indicative of the Spirit. You light your lamp. You know, no man lights a lamp and puts it underneath a basket. You were the city on a hill, right? Mm-hmm. And so you light that thing, and you turn the wick all the way up, right? Cool. How long can you burn that wick before the glass globe gets sooty? And there's nothing wrong with the lamp. Mm-hmm. You just got to take the glass off and clean it so that the light can continue to shine through it, right? Yep. And so sometimes in the process of being the light, you get a little soot on you, and you just got to wash it off, right? And so I baptize a lot of people that it's not their first time.
Yeah.
It's their second time, their 12th time, their 53rd time, because we get dirt on our soul, right? I've used the analogy of, we take a shower because in the course of doing work, we get dirty and we got to get cleaned up again, right? It works the same way for your soul too. Sometimes you just gotta hey man, wash me clean. That's why every time I baptize, it starts with me. Mm-hmm. And so when people are like, how many times can you be baptized? I don't know, but the answer for me is hundreds.
As many as it takes.
Hundreds. It's always me first because I don't want to be part of, right? I don't want to inform whatever is about to happen here via the Spirit. Get me out of the way. Wash me first. So I'm a non-factor, right? So that the Father and the Spirit can do what they do. And it's not about me at all. Whatever I'm bringing into the situation, let's just go ahead and get rid of that. And then I always have something to repent of, always, every time, right? And so these people that have no homes, okay, are we supposed to love them? Yeah, 100% we're supposed to. How we love them, I think, looks different for each individual, but we're supposed to be the ones that help them, not the federal government.
Yeah.
And people, everybody within the sound of my voice, will do a far better job of stewarding resources and actually connecting with those individuals than the federal government ever will. Yeah. Even if we got to beautify the city. Mm-hmm. I get it. We got to get crime rates down. Yep, I understand. But brutal half measures aren't going to make it go away. We're just sweeping it underneath the rug. And there has to be an element of compassion. Every time Messiah healed somebody, it's preceded with compassion, right? You have to meet that individual with compassion. Some of them, a small subset, are scumbags because there's a distribution of scumbags in every population. However, also a scumbag. You ever done any scumbag stuff?
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Kyle? You ever done any scumbag stuff?
Just a little.
Barb?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I'm human.
All have
I
sinned.
screwed up.
Right. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of Yah.
Yeah.
Right? And so, just because somebody is currently a scumbag doesn't mean that they'll be a scumbag forever. Now, I put an asterisk on that. I think if you intentionally hurt women and children, you need to be somebody else's problem. You don't want to be my problem. That's just the way Yah made me. That being said, if you're outside of that category of people that intentionally hurt women and children, compassion. How can I let the Most High flow through me to be of benefit to you? And that's actually not my default condition. It should be, but it's not. A lot of times I'm ENTJ. J stands for judging. And I'm really good at it, right? But was it Spurgeon who said, I think it was Spurgeon, when you get offended, paraphrasing, you get offended because another man has judged you, keep silent. For the thing that he has judged you for, you are surely far worse than that. Like, oof, talk about humility.
Yeah.
You know? Thoughts?
So true.
Good spot to put a bow on it.
Yeah.
Did want to touch on the idea, every time we deploy, how many times have we, gone out with the heart set and the mindset to love on people in times of stress and turmoil that they're going through, and all of a sudden something comes up at home.
Oh, yep.
And, the Father continually proves his faithfulness. And he says, when I send you out, your flocks will be okay. Your home, everything within your gates is going to be fine. I will protect your home. I will protect this. I will protect that. How many times have we gone out and all of a sudden there's a tornado warning in our own front yard?
It was my daughter's last day of school, her first year in school. We were in Kentucky, and yeah, headed straight for the school.
Yep.
Doubt? Yeah, I had doubt. Why?
I remember that. But do you remember what you did with that doubt?
Yep.
You said, hey, pray. There's a tornado headed towards my daughter's school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But the Father is faithful across the board on every front. Every front. So it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. As long as your heart set and your mindset is to do exactly what his word is, and that's really just to love on people.
Yep.
I got you.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. Everything will be okay.
We got back from Mississippi, and we got a bunch of tornado warnings here. In fact, we were teaching Train the Trainer, and we had to cut the last day of Train the Trainer short because there was a tornado on the ground.
Yep.
And so I drive from the other office back to my house, and there was a tornado on the ground across the field from my house, across the road in the field. And I was like, WTF, what do I do with this? Right? And so I'm like Forrest Gumping it on the front porch with the sideways rain, had a stack of sheet metal for roofing for the chicken coop, and I'm watching it spin around off the ground in my front yard like, this is not very good at all.
Yep.
And the Spirit goes, blow your shofar. Like, okay. And so I do. Oh. And it's like, again. Okay. Oh. And then one more. Third time pays for all. Right? And this thing just lifts, goes over our house, sets down about a mile away from our house. Fast forward a week. Here it comes again. And my whole family's at the house. My son's girlfriend and my whole family's there. And it's like, everybody get into the master closet. Here comes another tornado. And sure as shit, there's another tornado in the field across the street coming at my house. Sideways rain and hail. Hail starts falling. I'm getting hail's flying into me. I'm standing on the porch and I'm like, shofar? I just blow my shofar at it, right? And the Spirit goes, no, speak to the storm. What? What are you, what? And so I'm standing on my front porch watching this thing coming. And so I start praying. I just start praying. And I pray in concentric circles geographically from where I am. I don't know why. That's how my brain just sorts it out, right? So I start going to my house and then all of our neighbors around there and out and out and out from there, like down to like people that we know on the East Coast and the West Coast. And I've realized as I'm doing this, I'm now in my front yard with my hands up, walking around in my front yard, just praying and thanking the Father. My pine trees are doing this in the front yard, right? And then when they go from doing this and they just do this, it's like, oh, this is going to be bad, right? Because they're not coming back. They're staying stuck in one direction. And I looked at the storm. I looked at the tornado. I looked at the sky, and I was like, Father, you're sovereign over all things. You're sovereign over that too. Please, just keep us safe. And that thing went, lifted, went over the house, and there's no reason, geographic region, geologic, topographical reason for it to not.
Nope.
Right? And it
Not
just,
where you live.
not where I live. Went over the house. I sat down in the neighbor's field about a mile away. Damaged nothing. Not just in my house, in the county. Damaged nothing. And it's like, huh. Apparently you can just like talk to tornadoes and they'll, on behalf of Yah, and they'll behave themselves. But I'll tell you in a moment, it's a very odd feeling.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was coming back in the house and I had my rain jacket on and I could feel my phone in my pocket buzzing. And so I unzip that pocket and I get back on the porch. It's still raining like crazy. There's like a new stream running through my front yard, through my garden. And it's my wife. And she goes, praise Yah, it's lifted. And I was like, really? You don't say. That's crazy. Wow. So.
We were in Selmer, and the one that hits me all the time, because I love to sing, and is Praise You in the Storm, and just start belting it out, So.
That's awesome.
And that storm, the teams were in the field, and I was back at the fob, because I had just come from a meeting and trying to get them back. And just, worship him and know that he's got it every time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was the time when you told us all to come back.
Yeah.
We started wrapping up, and literally as we got in the trucks to leave is when it hit us on that side, and trees went from dead calm to oak trees are laying like this. And everything is blowing sideways. We're like, that was the good time. Let's go.
Yeah, they got the truck at the right time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see anything like that firsthand, grindstoneministries.com. There's two big buttons at the top. One says volunteer, one says donate.
Yep.
Just click them. There's a process to come and volunteer with us. There's a little bit of background check and some vetting that goes on. But if you click that volunteer button, that'll begin that process. And we are 100% privately supported by y'all. And so if that's a good work you'd like to pour into, if the Spirit convicts you, you can do that at grindstoneministries.com. It's an honor that we get to do what we do. And it's also an honor that I have these brothers that can do that in my stead, because I don't get to every deployment anymore. Although there are times that I need it. I know I need the reset. Give me the freaking 888 with the 5-foot bar, and yeah, just let me cut some stuff and break some hydraulic lines for Barb. Dude, that
Brand
case,
new machine, not even 3 minutes, and he comes back, rips the hoses off.
if they had put long enough hoses on it to begin with, I wouldn't have ripped them off.
Just saying.
I'm just saying. I was there, homie. I grabbed a log with the grapple, went to pick it up to move it, and the line wasn't long enough, and it literally ripped the hose out of the fitting. And I was like, "Are you shitting me?"
So then he drops the log, starts coming back over to me, and all I hear is beep, 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 beep. And I look over and I see hydraulic fluid.
That wasn't the horn. That was you censoring the words that were coming out of my
you,
mouth.
you did actually have the horn going as you were driving up. But,
I know.
but it's talking about grindstone stuff. Even if you don't know how to run a chainsaw, but you're a capable person and have abilities in anything, we will teach you how to do that safely.
Yep.
There are always jobs to do: sweeping up, cleaning up, organizing, putting stuff away.
There are
But
12 teams.
We do all of that.
12 different teams, job roles in the volunteer handbook that's getting reviewed and will be published on the website this week. So there's something for everybody to do.
Yep.
And there's trainings out there. Hopefully our trainings are coming soon. We deploy a lot, so that's intervened in a bunch of those. But on the job training, some of the best. And if you haven't got a chance to come, that's where my journey with this organization started. As a volunteer.
Yep.
We heard y'all were hungry and feeding 1,000 people a meal, loaded up a load of produce and got on the road.
Yeah, you did.
So puked my guts up on the way.
Yeah, you did. Mayfield, Fairdale Olive,
yeah,
Fair Dealing
Department.
Olive Fire Department. I don't know how the hell you say that name. They had a cool aluminum boat.
No.
I remember that. But yeah, it's not that the curriculum for our trainings doesn't exist. It's that literally every time there's been one on the calendar, 3 days before, it's like, and we're deploying.
Yep.
So
the leader training wound up being a mini deployment to Ada.
yeah.
Oh, y'all are here. Okay, let's go.
And then training typically always just happens in the field.
Yeah.
Very organically too. But it's good that you bring that up, because a lot of people are like, I don't know how to operate equipment. I don't know how to run a chainsaw. Yeah. Cool. Do you know how to talk to people? Do you know how to cook? You know how to drive a vehicle? Some of our favorite people
Can you pull a trailer?
are the people that fix all the stuff that we break. Because literally, it sounds crazy, but literally, one of my KPIs, key performance indicators, is how many hydraulic hoses have we broken? For real.
You broke.
No. I closed the door gently and it decided to
No,
Shattered.
his
Shattered the
KPI
glass.
is broken cab glass, okay?
Or stuck in the mud.
But the reason that's a KPI for me is because you don't break hydraulic hoses when the equipment's sitting still.
Yep.
Right? And the Father gave it to us to use, and when we use it, we use it.
Yep.
Which is
Praise the Father, we've grown so much that we actually just hired a mechanic because it was cheaper to hire Ezra than to contract everything out to get repaired.
100%. I was going to say, some of my favorite people from Grindstone are the people that keep all of our stuff running because we use it. And I don't know how many mornings and evenings have been spent. I'll walk out, wherever we're fobbed up, I'll walk out in the parking lot where all the trucks and all the guys are, and it's like, would you look at this saw? Like, sure. It's like 4 other people have looked at this saw and they can't make it run. And so like, yep, let me take a look at it. Let me see what I can do. And so whether it's that or sharpening saws or just whatever, wrenching on trucks, and there's something for everybody there. So
Rain days are some of the best days too.
yeah, they are. Yep. So grindstoneministries.com. There's a link in the description for that. Refuge Medical is our American-made first aid kit company. We also do a lot of training, a lot of teaching and instruction. If I think FM 200 is still live, $200 off the field medic. which
Which is a smoking deal.
That's
by
a good
the
deal.
way.
you've been like, you and the crash kit.
Me
You've
and the
just
crash
been,
kid have been best friends here
yeah.
for about 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Kid
I'm a
too,
volunteer
though.
firefighter as well as some of my other duties that I do. But I will tell you, in all of my experience over the past 20 years being a volunteer firefighter, the refuge medical kits far exceed what we carry on our trucks. And I most generally go to my crash kit rather than use the med bags on the trucks.
Yeah. Did you get your restock stuff?
Yes. I did,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we build stuff that will actually work. And as somebody who spends a fair amount of time training law enforcement, EMS, and fire, just because the AMBO or the fire truck or the cruiser has showed up doesn't necessarily mean the problem is over. And so having your own equipment and your own skill set to go with the equipment is really important.
100%.
We have some classes coming up. You can go to refugemedical.com, click the training tab. We have Wilderness Responder is coming up the end of this month. I believe there's 3 seats left for it now. It was 4, it's now 3. So if that's something you want to do, I'd strongly encourage you to do that. That includes a $4.99 value Wilderness Responder kit, which is basically an EMTA kit. And it's part of the class because we're going to teach you how to use everything that's in that kit over the course of 3 days. So that's coming up. Train the Trainer is coming up in November 9th, 10th, and 11th. Then October 26th and 27th, we have a 2-day Essential Responder, which is civilian TAC Med. And so that starts, morning of day 1 is lecture and practical application. Afternoon of day 1 is intro to scenario-based training. And all of day 2 is scenario-based training, including mass casualty, force-on-force, motor vehicle accidents, buddy drags, carries, triage, casualty collection points, the whole 9. And that's a civilian class. So if you're interested in any of that or any of the kits, you can go to refugemedical.com, use promo code BEARNATION, get you 10% off everything in the store, whether that's individual components or kits or training or books, swag, whatever. It's all there at refugemedical.com. And last but not least, calebhouse.org, Caleb with a K. There's a lot of people that talk a big game about rescuing and restoring kids. I am constantly asking my field teams about, hey, we have a lot of wins. Could you give me something that I could talk about on camera? Something, please. And I wish that they would. But I hate being like, just take my word for it, bro. Just take my word for it. Because there's a lot of that grifting in this industry, counter-trafficking industry. I could tell you that recently, we had a field team internationally in another country where the law enforcement in that country was concerned about a human trafficker. They knew that this was happening. Our field team was able to locate that individual mere blocks from where they were and put a stop to it within 48 hours. Amazing. Also tell you that there are ongoing operations, and our primary role is ongoing operations domestically here at CONUS, Continental United States. There's a lot of organizations that are involved in counter-trafficking that are involved in counter-trafficking elsewhere in the world. And it's not that those kids there don't need help. They do need help. But American donor base funds international operations. Where is the American donor base that funds domestic operations? There's a lot of people that don't run operations here in the United States because it's hard. And I just can't stomach the idea that we're not going to do this thing because it's hard.
No.
And so we do domestic operations, rescue and restoration. We have multiple safe sites right now where we house people that have been rescued so we can put them back together again and break those generational curses. And then we also are in the process of building our restoration facility. So think of like an intentional community, if you will, using care parents, house parents for these kiddos that have no place to go. They're unaccompanied minors that then come into our program that has no timeline. because I'm not going to tell a 4-year-old they've got a year to get their poop in a group and then kick them back out in the world again, right? And so that facility is in the process of being built right now. It is funded by y'all and by my wallet. Just facts. It's not DHS, it's not the Attorney General's office, it's not the state, it's not CPS, it's not federal taxpayer dollars or state dollars or local dollars, none of that. It's 100% privately funded by y'all. And so when we have that up and running, which we are in the process of getting it up and running, we will be able to restore, I've run the math on this, calculator brain. Our cost per year to restore one kid is 5% of what DHS budgets per kid. That means we can do 20 to 1 what DHS does. Same cost with much better care. And DHS's numbers are all bullshit anyway, because nationally there's only 420 beds for child restoration in the United States, 420 in the United States. And that's a bullshit number because only about 80 of those beds are operable. And so phase 1, Caleb House restoration site, will bring another 60 beds online. And then the long-term goal is immediately after phase 1 is done, we go into after action report phase, AAR, sustain, improve. What do we do great? What do we suck at? How do we do it better next time? And then we begin building Caleb House 2, Caleb House 5, Caleb House 11, Caleb House 23, 37, 109, until we don't have this problem anymore. Until this doesn't have to be done anymore, until this is just handled, we're going to continue to do this for children here in the United States of America that don't have anywhere else to go, that are not going to become property of the state, that are not going to be re-trafficked. Somebody's got to break the generational curse, because each individual offender, this is a learned behavior, this is what we have to break, is this learned behavior. Each individual offender is statistically responsible for 82 victims, not 82 offenses, not 82 charges, 82 victims. It's an exponential problem. And so we have to exponentially attack it on the other side, on the restoration side, because every one of these kids that needs to be put back together again, that we do put back together again, is potentially an offender above the age of accountability that we don't have to retarget, that isn't making 82 more victims. And so it's a life's work. I'm very thankful for the people in my life that help us do this. We're surrounded by incredibly competent people that are making this happen. And it's funded by y'all, by the Bear Nation, the best audience on planet Earth. The kingdom impact that this audience has had is unparalleled. I don't know of another audience that has funded 53, 54 disaster deployments, has rescued dozens of children, has locked up tons of bad guys, right? Like, it's y'all, right? Like, these are not my good works or our good works. They're y'all's good works. I can't say thank you enough for that, because we'd be dead in the water without y'all.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many budget meetings we've sat in and looked at the budget and gone, nope, there's not enough money in the bank account to do what we're about to do. However, Dad's sovereign over all things. Do we do the right thing? Yes, we do the right thing. Let's go. How many times have we seen that with Grindstone?
Yep.
13 generators.
Endless times. Happens every time. And so that's y'all. That's y'all's good works. And you are literally enabling the hands and feet of the Most High to go be a blessing to the widow and the orphan, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And we couldn't do it without y'all. So if you want to, if you are convicted by the Spirit to plug into that, you can do that at calebhouse.org, Caleb with the K, and grindstoneministries.com. Of course, all your life-saving equipment and instruction is at refugemedical.com. And shall we pray? Let's pray. Good morning, Father Yahweh. Father, thank you for the opportunity to be your hands and feet. Father, thank you for the perspective of your sovereignty, that regardless of what may be happening in our lives that we are unpleased about, it is part of your plan, and that it is possible, by your Spirit to have peace that surpasses all understanding. Father, thank you for the brothers in this room. Thank you for all the other teammates everywhere, the brothers and sisters, and all the different aspects of what we do that are literally this very moment being your hands and feet, however that might be, whether it's cutting boards and shooting nails or rescuing and restoring or sewing first aid kits, whatever it might be. Father, thank you for this enterprise that you inexplicably bless daily. Father, for everybody within the sound of my voice, all the unspoken prayer, everybody who is in need of provision, I pray that you would provide for them, give them this day their daily bread. For everybody who is hurting internally or externally, I pray that you would heal them, begin that healing process, and pour out your Spirit on them, Father, that they would be made whole. Father, for everybody who is struggling with conviction, I pray that you would bring that conviction by your Spirit, your Ruach HaKodesh, that you would allow us to operate in the fruits of the Spirit, that we would remember to be patient, we would remember to be kind, we would remember to operate with self-control, we would remember to love you and to love people, not just to the best of our ability, but to the best of our ability indwelt by you. Father, thank you for Messiah and his atoning sacrifice, that we would have a way to come home again and a model to walk after. Thank you for relentlessly pursuing the weirdos and the bad kids and the rebels. Thank you for loving us too, and for seeing us the way you made us to be, not the way the world has made us to be. Thank you for mountains of grace. Thank you for not destroying us when you could have, but instead compassionately loving us, pulling us out of a ditch, cleaning us up, and teaching us how to walk again. Father, I pray that this whole country and this whole world would know to come to know you better. And not just intellectually, Father, but as a condition of the heart, that we might be able to actually affect positive change for your kingdom, whatever the day might bring, whatever the threats look like, that you are sovereign over all that too. So I pray that you give us courage and strength in the face of adversity, that we would operate in meekness and turn the other cheek in the most biblical sense possible. We would be unafraid to speak the truth of the Most High Elohim, speak the truth of the gospel of Messiah, to love people, especially when uncomfortable. Father, thank you for the opportunity to serve you. We love you and we praise you in Yeshua's name. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, Matthew Nichols. I appreciate the super chat, but you don't need to pay for pray around here. Spiritual struggles right now. I'm trying to stop being a POS and it's been rough. Okay. You should stop trying to be a POS. You're also never going to accomplish that fully.
Yeah.
And it's in that space in between what you are capable of and the perfection of the Most High where Messiah intercedes for us. There's not a thing you can do without Messiah. There's not a thing that you've ever done without Messiah. It's just you didn't know it. Right? There's not a good thing you've ever done. There's not a breath you've ever taken without permission from the Most High. This goes back to this concept of bitachon, complete and utter reliance on the Creator of the universe. And so, yeah, we'll pray for you. Also, what I would encourage you to do, and I mean this literally, is put your knees in the dirt, put your face on the ground, and cry out, Abba, Father, please help me. I am so sorry. If we could learn to mourn our sin the way that he does. That's a prayer of mine on occasion. Father, help me hate my sin as much as you do, so that I stop being so comfortable with it. Right? And it should make us uncomfortable, because in the uncomfortability is where the growth is. And you'll never be perfect. It's not possible for you to be perfect, but you can be good, and you will be good in the model of Messiah if you have the heart condition to truly walk after that. And if you're grieved of your sin right now, that's good. That's a good indication. That's where we should be. Even Paul talks about this. My flesh doesn't do what my spirit wants to do, right? And it does what my spirit doesn't want it to do. This is Paul. He wrote 40% of the New Testament. Messiah, on the road to Damascus, comes to him. Shaul, Shaul, why have you forsaken me? Why do you kick against the goads, right? Paul we're talking about. And Paul's like, I am such a weak, ineffectual piece of shit. 2025 translation. Right? That's what he's saying. He's like, I am terrible at this. However, the spirit that lives within me is not. And therefore, when I rebuke you, brothers, I rebuke you in boldness, because I'm intimately familiar with your shortcomings too, because your shortcomings are my shortcomings. And it's only by the cross, it's only by Messiah that I have any hope anyway. Right? And so Father Yah, Matthew is struggling. Please, Father, continue to convict him so that he might struggle less, that he would learn to do better. Pour out your spirit on him for that conviction. And Father, let him seek Messiah and walk in his patterns. And also thank you for grace that you don't destroy us when you could, because you're a good, loving, sovereign Father. In Yeshua's name, amen.
Amen.
It's good, Matthew. You should be convicted. And here's the thing to remember. You're a POS in the flesh because you've learned patterns of behavior from the world that don't serve Elohim. And you can unlearn those patterns of behavior in the spirit to be less of a POS. Comma, words have power. Be careful how you label yourself.
Speak life.
Speak life.
That's right.
You are a son of the Most High, Abba Yahweh Elohim, creator of the heavens and the earth. Does that change your perspective? Because for me, it's like, well, how would a son of the Most High conduct himself? Not this way. And it's when I forget who I am in the spirit that I do things that I don't want to do in the flesh, whatever that might look like, right? And so remember who you are. And I can prove to you that you're not worthless, because the most precious gift that ever was given for you. Messiah died for you. And so it's only the whispers of the enemy, our own learned behavior, that plays over and over in our head saying, hey, you suck, you're a piece of shit, you're not good enough, you're worthless. Yep. Now, to a certain extent, that's true. I am not good enough. If I was good enough, I wouldn't need Messiah. However, in the Spirit, indwelt by the Spirit, I am a son of the Most High. Now, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So remember who you are. Be thankful for who you are. Give praise for who you are. And then, to the best of your ability, indwelt by the Spirit, conduct yourself in the manner that a son or a daughter of the Most High would, because you are a king. You are a queen. That's who we were made to be. So literally, right there's a big banner up on the wall that says, no peasant shit. You will be to me, to Yahweh Elohim, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Amen. Exodus 19, verse 6. That's who we're supposed to be. We're a kingdom of, we're a nation of priests and a holy set-apart nation. Okay, so we got to remember that.
Yep.
Don't beat yourself up too much. There's that Christian guilt gets ineffectual at some point. You're like,
guilt trip in there.
This whole system is rigged. I don't want to play anymore. All right, that's the show for today. Do us a favor. Share the show with somebody you love, please and thank you. YouTube algorithm hates our guts. We hate their guts back. It's mutual. But if you found some value in the show today, share the show with somebody you love. This is Gen Pop, YouTube public video. You can share this link wherever you want to share it. And it helps us grow so that we can reach more people, so we can spread the light that we do have on loan from the Most High to as many people as possible and continue to do good works. With that, love y'all. See you when we see you. Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Shalom, everybody.